Due to the obscene and ridiculous nature of this podcast, listener discretion is strongly advised.
Vital Elements is happy to present their new Italian-inspired tomato-style sauce. This rich, savory tomato sauce is the perfect accompaniment for pasta, garlic bread, and more. It is made of real, wholesome ingredients like fine ripened tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, Sicilian sea salt, and organic red pepper flakes. Vital Elements tomato sauce will have your stomach thanking your mouth because it's just that good. I can't wait to get home and make myself a hearty bowl of spaghetti topped with Vital Elements' new Italian-inspired tomato-style sauce. Oh yeah, there's one more thing here on the page for me to read. 10% of every purchase of the new Vital Elements tomato sauce goes to charity. The charity is for people like me who have huge, veiny, uncircumcised hogs. Our thick, uncut flesh hoses are so huge and virile that they started a charity to help us out. Our penises are just too long, too girthy, and too satisfying to our lovers, so Vital Elements is giving us money for free and we can do whatever we want with it. What am I going to do with the charity money that I get? Well, I'm going to use it to get a penis enlargement. You can never have enough wiener meat. You can never have enough hog in your trough. I'm going to see if they can make mine bigger and make it sort of wavy. I'm going to make my penis look like a huge crinkle-cut french fry, and there's nothing you or anybody else can do about it.
Secret Society of Fly Tires. Wow.
Secret Society of Fly Tigers? What in the fuck is that?
I'm sick of this phony baloney.
The Secret Society of Fly Tires, the Secret Society of Fly Tires podcast, the best podcast about fly tying.
Hello everyone, wherever you may be, whenever this may be, welcome to another episode of Secret Society of Fly Tires. I believe this to be the first edition of the show where I get to chat with the creator of an innovative and fairly new tying material.
I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I got friends in this town and they tell me things.
I've talked to a few guests in the past that have cool products related to fly fishing, like the Hermit Boys and their handheld vise, the Palmer. I've had Drew Wilson on to chat about his fly fishing art and tattoos. Gilligan Coles came back for a second interview to talk about his Truckee speed rods. I had Rob Beckius from Two Hand Hardware on to talk about his fly boxes, and in this season, I had an episode dedicated to Pelagos fly rods too. But somehow, I've done 45 episodes and haven't talked to anyone who invented a new tying material. This is supposed to be a fly tying podcast, just to be clear. I'm happy to report that the streak ends today, as I convinced Mr. Squimpish himself, David Nelson, to Zoom with me for an hour. So, what is a squimp, and how has David been able to harvest so much of their hair to sell to us to make fake bait, fish, and bugs with? Did he make that name up? Is it even from an animal, or is it made in a lab?
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I was chatting with the worm, trying to figure out what lies we could cook up to tell you all what a squimp was instead of doing any real research to get educated for this interview. That's what I call prep. But I decided not to lie. You all are wise to my moves at this point. So here's a short list of things that we thought a squimp could be. None of them are true. A rooster born with 2 penises. This is a commonly used symbol of luck in many cultures. An ingrown hair in your mouth? Gross. A little electric grill cart that hot dog vendors use to peddle their meats. We were also going to say that a squimp was a kid that I went to high school with, and everybody called him that because he would always fall asleep in class and have mid-nap nocturnal emissions in front of the whole class. Squimp could also be a new sauce made from mixing mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, and pure maple syrup. This sounds good to me, by the way, almost like those all-dressed chips as a sauce. It could also be a new cell phone service provider that keeps sending me lewd advertisements in the mail, or an infection of the kidneys that makes your urine thick and creamy. A squimp or squimping has to be a porno term or a kink or something also, right? Should I look that up?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll explore this a little by starting with the Urban Dictionary, which has a few definitions currently available. And no, they weren't submitted by me or the worm. It says a squimp, to be or act as a fiend, often used as a term of endearment. Some uses. Kyle was supposed to bring his famous cheese dip to band practice tonight, but he decided to be a squimp and ate it all in the Uber ride on the way to practice, even though he's lactose intolerant. You could also say, "What's up, my squimp?" That's all innocent enough, but you know there's some X-rated definition or a sex move or something too, right? Okay, we might be getting somewhere now because the Urban Dictionary is providing even more definitions. A squimp. A girl that, despite being hairy like a chimp, is also so sweaty that her skin glistens like that of a squid. Using it like, when I saw her working out, I realized that she wasn't just ugly and hairy, but she was also a squimp. That's just mean. Alright, I knew it. Here's the porno definition that I knew I would find. Squimping. A sexual act in which one partner lifts open the foreskin, spits inside it, and then closes it and rubs it around. That's a sex move? Dude, what got you in such a good mood today? My partner finally squimped me last night. I can't stop thinking about it. You lucky bastard. Yeah, man, I got squimped big time.
Gross.
That's all from the Urban Dictionary. And yeah, the last part is gross, but I have to admit that I laughed at the username of who submitted that porno definition to the Urban Dictionary, which was Reese Witherspoon Fan. The list that started me down this road was made-up things that the worm and I came up with. Reading those out loud to you all was making me feel like we could have done better. But with how gross the Urban Dictionary got with the word, it made my list feel at least not gross. And who am I to say anything? I've aired like 30-something fake commercials, mostly about bodily fluids this season of the show. But anyway.
I'm sorry, Dave.
None of those ideas ever crossed David's mind when he was naming this new product that he created, by the way. He's a smart and innovative fly tyer and entrepreneur that set out to create a brand new material for us to use at the Vise. If you have better ideas about jokes I should have made about what a squimp is, please let me know in the comments. Now, I'll give you the real rundown of what Squimpish fibers actually are, and this is directly from their own description on their website, not my dangerously stupid brain or the worm's less stupid but still dangerous brain, or the often disgusting Urban Dictionary. Squimpish fibers are a unique synthetic fiber that revolutionizes the world of fly tying and lure design. The fiber is unlike any other material currently used in the industry, combining the strength and durability of synthetic materials with the natural taper of traditional fly tying materials. The fibers have a consistent diameter from root to tip, allowing for a natural taper that enhances the look and movement of flies in the water. Squimpish fibers are lightweight, yet sturdy, allowing for easy casting and exceptional durability. The natural taper of the fibers enhances the overall look and movement of the flies, making them more effective in attracting fish. These fibers come in a variety of shades and hues that can be combined to create a unique color tone, and they are color fast, ensuring that they won't bleed or fade over time. Squimpish hair, boutique blends, spec blends, and Squimpish fur are products available in the Squimpish online store, and they all feature this innovative fiber, providing fly tyers and lure designers with a versatile range of materials to create effective and attractive patterns. Additionally, their Squimpish brushes offer a quick and efficient way to create large teardrop-shaped flies for steelhead and other anadromous species. Squimpish Fly's synthetic fiber is a game-changing material that sets a new standard for fly tying and lure design. This superior material fits right in the arsenal of fly tires, rivaling bucktail, craft fur, kinky fiber, and bird feathers. Its versatility, spanning colors, shades, lengths, sizes, and textures, and remarkable swimming capabilities make it a standout choice for both form and function. The name was created by skillfully merging the qualities of squid, shrimp, and fish. As a result, the name Squimpish was born. David will tell us more about everything in the interview, but this is what the Squimpish material really is. I like to think that squimp hair is harvested from free-range or retired Muppets, just like craft fur is. And that might be true. I didn't ask David to confirm or deny that during our chat.
I'm going to the kitchen. Would anybody like anything else?
Yeah. Can I get some more of this neon blue? I think it's meat.
Sure, Bob.
What is it? It's terrific.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We'd never had any until we moved to the area, but now we are hooked.
Is it fish?
No, it's Muppet.
I'll be darned. I didn't know you could eat Muppet.
Well, yeah, it was Steve's idea. We backed over one our first night here.
I first caught wind of it after my good buddy Steve picked up a few colors for striper flies, and he told me that I should give it a shot. So I did. And I was so impressed with it that I wanted to talk to Mr. Squimpish himself and pick his brain and tell all of you about the stuff. I've mostly used it on Clouser type flies so far, which it works great for, but I've also used it as a belly on some sculpin flies and as a replacement for craft fur or Arctic fox if a fly I'm tying calls for a color that I don't have. I haven't had the best luck spinning it up in a composite loop yet, but I'm going to keep trying to do that because I was getting close to success with it and it obviously works somehow. They make really sweet brushes out of the stuff, and those are just long-ass composite loops using wire, right? Please excuse this brief interruption from one of our many sponsors.
My butthole stinks. P.U. It stinks to high heaven and it itches like the devil's got a hold of it. I'm a bidet boy and I feel filthy and covered in sin when I'm forced to dry wipe in some disgusting public restroom. When I'm at home, I can spray my tender hole until I'm spotless and dripping wet. Also, the pressurized water spraying on my anus gets me rock hard. I won't lie, I've climaxed from using a bidet more than once. I'm not ashamed of that. I love finishing hands free. Anyway, Vital Elements is proud to present their new wearable bidet. This handsome, discreet, insertable product fits snugly into most anuses. Legally, I can't say all anuses because I know some of you have got some real gapers. You've got some big pink socks. If you've got some free time on your hands, why don't you hold on, listen. This fist-sized product is built to last, and it's made from some of the most potent forever chemicals available on the market today. To use, simply insert the Vital Elements wearable bidet suppository puck into your hungry hippo hole, and get on with your day. This nearly indestructible puck is held comfortably and securely in your rectum until you need it. It's also designed in such a way that it lets you squirt out your sticky diarrhea without having to remove this component from your body. After you've voided your bowels, you can connect the included retractable pocket hose to any bathroom faucet, and with a crank of the handle, you'll have scalding hot water gushing into your anus and washing away all of your sorrows and brown chunks. If you order in the next 1 second, Vital Elements has also promised to include a complimentary on-the-go water pouch that you can use to flush your dumper even when there's no water source nearby. I recently had to use this when my car broke down in the desert and I had to take a huge disgusting dump. I sprayed my stink all over the desert landscape, and then I was able to clean my undercarriage to completion using the on-the-go water pouch. I can't tell you how thankful I was to have this incredible item. If you like to keep your box clean like I do, then you're going to want to get yourself at least one wearable bidet suppository puck from Vital Elements today. Stuff it up your pooper and wash away the stink of your life when you're out and about.
Anyways, David is an accomplished fly tyer and angler. He's also a restaurant owner and a dispensary owner. He's as busy as all hell, and he still found an hour to share a beverage with me over the internet and nerd out for a bit. He's been fishing since he was 2 years old and has been fly fishing for over 25 years. I already told you he's a skilled fly tyer, and his work on the vise has been featured in magazines, including on the cover of Saltwater Fly Fishing, as well as in books by Klaus Meyer and Popovics. And additionally, his fly tying skills are frequently showcased on social media platforms. David's wife Stephanie is the driving force behind the Squimpish brand, and she's accountable for overseeing the daily business operations. Mrs. Squimpish actually helped me get this interview all squared away. So a big thanks to her for helping me convince David that it wouldn't be total career suicide to come on this show.
I am afraid it might be.
I quickly found out that squimp flies are kind of their own little niche of fly tying videos on YouTube too. David has many tutorials on the stuff online, and other tyers post their flies as well. A lot of them utilize the hollow fly method of tying materials in backwards and folding them back over themselves using a tube like an empty ballpoint pen or something similar, and then working your thread through the material you just tied in to keep it where you want it. The hollow fly thing was a pretty foreign idea for me, to be honest, but I like learning new things, so I started giving it a shot, and it's fun. David is right too. You can tie large flies with this stuff pretty quick and easy, and even though the flies are large, they are still very castable and sturdy. The material somehow looks and feels natural.
Say, would you look at this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I'll link to a bunch of videos on patterns that use squimp hair in the show notes, of course. I hope you check them out and get inspired to pick up a few colors of Squimpish fibers and find some innovative ways to use this stuff. Or just use it the way they tell you to use it. That's your choice. In the last episode, I mentioned that orcas will sometimes wear salmon carcasses as a sort of hat. I foolishly claimed that I didn't do that, and that trout don't do that either.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
I wouldn't say that I was lying about wearing my food as a hat, but I realized that I do love to wear this full golden pheasant skin around the house on my head like a hat. I can eat pheasant, so I guess that makes me more like an orca than I want to be. It actually makes me feel like a fly tying version of Davy Crockett or something. And I'm not wearing it to mock dead pheasants or make my friends laugh. I'm not trying to brag either, because it's a pretty expensive hat, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my god, did you see Marty's hat? Vincent, oh fuck. Ha 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 ha.
What the hell?
Bree, he looks so fucking stupid, I can't breathe. Vincent, what the hell even is it? Bree, it's a golden pheasant skin. Holy shit. He looks so fucking stupid.
Oh.
Talk later.
It makes me feel like a mountain man and kind of regal at the same time. If you have one, try it out. Put it on your head and go run an errand or just do it in front of your family. They will think that you're cool, I promise.
Hey, I think you're really cool. I like you a lot. Maybe we can hang out or something.
Wearing a pheasant skin and feathers on your head definitely makes you look cooler than smoking cigarettes make you look. I know that from experience. If you have one, please put it on your head and post it on Instagram and tag the show. Please. But I guess no one has golden pheasant anymore? I got one of the last full golden pheasant skins that my buddy Jonathan Farmer had in stock a while back, and shortly thereafter I read that no one has the stuff anymore. How is that possible? Are they extinct or so endangered that they are provided extra protection from us feather hoarders? The first source I found online said that golden pheasants are the #1 food source of the golden coyote. Could that be true? No. There are no gold coyotes. Did orcas eat them all? I spent a lot of time in a previous episode explaining that killer whales have an insatiable appetite for blood. Any type of blood. So they are a likely culprit, but they can't walk on land yet. Or anymore? Either way, that isn't the root of the shortage because they simply can't access all the golden pheasant. If they could, all the golden pheasant would have been gone a long time ago.
I guarantee it.
So I started reading on some message boards and people are blaming supply issues from China and the bird flu. Is it really unavailable? Because I'm seeing it on Etsy stores and other places online. So maybe it was all related to the bird flu and China export issues. The ones I'm seeing online seem to be bred and sold here domestically, and they aren't cheap. So maybe that little rant I was about to go down is for nothing. The feathers do seem to be available if you want to pay for them, or just start your own coop, you fool. Just like the jungle cock coop I pretended to start in my backyard, except you don't need to lie about it.
I decided to become a liar. I just make things up.
Just really do it, and then sell those feathers for top dollar, my dude, to me and other fly tyers. In fact, give me and the listeners of this show exclusive access to buying your homegrown golden pheasant feathers. We get feather lust, the feather hunger. we go to the fly shop and we buy packs of feathers we already own but forgot we had because we are easily sold. We'll even pay more for a product if it's labeled as being for fly anglers. Get out of the way and take my money. It sounds like there may even be folks in my general area in Northern California that have tried to do just that, because as I was searching the internet to try and find a reason for the shortage in available golden pheasant pelts, I came across a news article from my local ABC affiliate. The title of the article, Folsom Couple Finds Runaway Golden Pheasant Popular on Local Social Media Groups. How did I not know about this story or this local bird-loving social media group? Even better, this bird shares its name with one of the mystical pillars of Freemasonry. Boaz is the bird's name. The two, is mysterious the right word? The two pillars of Freemasonry are Boaz and Jachin.
Boaz and Jachin, the esoteric pillars of the temple. In Freemasonry, Kabbalah, and the occult, the twin pillars Boaz and Jachin stand as profound symbols at the threshold of spiritual initiation. Drawn from the architecture of Solomon's temple, they are not merely physical structures, but metaphysical archetypes, guardians of hidden knowledge and gatekeepers to the inner sanctum of the mysteries.
Anyways, if you're interested in that rabbit hole, go ahead and do some searches on an incognito browser window about 9/11 and those two pillars, and then hold on to your golden pheasant hat for a wild ride. Sorry, I was once again distracted by Freemasonic symbolism. That happens a lot. This golden pheasant named Boaz escaped his cage after some neighbor dogs tried to chew through it, most likely to eat the bird. But the bird was too smart for the dogs and flew away, ending up in someone's garage. That is an odd bird to find in your garage. I think as fly tires, if one of us finds that bird in our garage, we don't tell anyone, right? Never seen the bird. I don't know who or what Boaz is. Sorry. The owners were contacted and they came over to the neighbor's garage with pheasant treats and lured the bird into a net and brought him back home to his mate, who, if these owners didn't name it Jachin, they missed a great opportunity, and of course they didn't name it that. This bird's girlfriend is named Ruth. That proves you can do it though. People raised them in Folsom, so you can do it too. I can do it here in my local area. Please do your part in making sure that fly tires like us always have access to golden pheasant crests and tippets and all the other feathers they have. I don't think there's a way for David to run low on Squimpish fibers. New Muppets retire from their 9-to-5 jobs on Sesame Street and all the other movie sets every day, and then they are released into a free-range habitat where hunters pay top dollar to take one out.
Let me get this straight. You guys come up here, hunt and kill animals, and that's therapy.
It works. Hey, it works for me.
It's got to be the stupidest shit I ever heard of in my life, but it's cool. It's your thing.
Take your time. Enjoy yourselves.
I am.
Life's true pleasures are so unpredictable. I say, cherish the moment.
You're missing the best part, Mr. Mason. When you're eating the flesh from the pig, look into his little beady eyes. That way, you will be devouring his soul.
It's sort of like that movie where Ice-T plays a homeless man that rich people pay to hunt in a sick and twisted game of hide and seek. The hunters take home the meat, and David gets the hair to sell to us to make flies with. That isn't true, but I wish it was. I also learned about another tying material that I'd somehow never heard of until I watched an interview with my guest David while prepping for this episode. We talked a little bit about it in the interview too. It's called bird fur. But birds don't have fur, Marty, you might be saying. Are you making up another dumb story? No, this is true. I'm trying to train you all to never trust me and never know when I'm telling the truth, by the way. But you can trust me that this one is true. Probably. You may already know about this stuff. Whiting sells packages of it, but it was new to me, so I can't be the only one. Here's a quick description of the stuff. Looks like a feather, but swims as well as your favorite natural fur. Unique and useful over a wide range of applications. Whiting's bird fur is a patch of feathers like nothing else. These birds are bred to have feathers that mimic expensive spay hackles, and with long, fine, and flowing fibers coupled with a thin stem. These feathers do an excellent job whether you're tying shrimp patterns, saltwater bait fish, or typical steelhead and salmon flies. Whiting's bird fur patches have a wide assortment of feather sizes, allowing you to wrap most small to large patterns, and with Whiting's excellent range of colors, you'll always be able to find what you need. While bird fur may not offer the appeal of some of the more expensive feathers such as heron, it's a solid choice whenever you need to stock your box without a high price tag. I'll bet you're interested now. I'll be picking some up for sure. I watch somewhere around a gazillion fly tying videos in my free time, and this interview I watched where David mentioned it was the first time I ever heard about it. I should have bought some already, before it becomes as elusive and expensive as golden pheasant. How much money do you think you've spent on fly tying materials and tools? I'm asking that more to the folks who tie just to fish with their own stuff. Not a professional commercial fly tyer. Just us hobby folks. Is it as much as a car? I don't want to know what I've spent. Every time I buy materials from a fly shop, I am surprised at how much more money my order will cost me than I had planned on spending. It's rarely under $50 per order. It's like trying to get out of Costco without spending at least $100. But it makes me happy, okay? Having every color of Kraken dubbing makes me happy. Buying a jungle cop cape hurt my wallet real bad, but I love having the skin in my desk full of little nails to add to my swing flies. The fish cannot give a shit less if I put a JC nail on a fly or not. I refuse to believe it, but I still paid for one and I love to have it in my tying arsenal. I got my first order of squimp hair not long before this interview. I got 3 colors initially, olive, white, and rainbow, and now I want every color. Why does my brain do this? I like to think it's the practical element that comes along with the artistic or creative part of the sport or hobby or whatever, but it's most likely just my hoarding mentality. It's why I'm glad I don't collect vinyl. I'd want every version of every Thin Lizzy record, and I would stop at nothing to get them. These feathers power my hobby of fly fishing, and tying up new patterns actually motivates me to get to the river. Sometimes I lack that motivation because even though I'm close to a river, my local water is kinda depressing and doesn't have a ton of fish in it. I gotta get all my gear together and hike to a spot and hope that someone else didn't beat me there and then pack out and put everything away. I'm trying to tell you that I'm inherently lazy, and the lack of overall success does have an impact. But twisting up a cool new fly at my vise makes me want to go fish it. So that's how I justify my spending to my wife, when she finds out. Shit, she might be listening to this right now. Sweetie, my love, everything I've been talking about to my listeners has all been a big lie. The fly shops just give you feathers and fur if you visit their shop out of the kindness of their hearts. Some kind of like a bonus if you buy a rod or some wading boots or something. Thanks for buying those boots. Here's a bag of feathers for you to mess around with. That's the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
It's a secret club where everything is free and we're just crafting nerds. We do this because otherwise we'd be spending the money on drugs and alcohol and at massage parlors and stuff. You wouldn't want that, right? Anyways, she doesn't listen to this show, so I don't need to make up any lies, and she knows that I spend way too much money on feathers anyways. It's an easy thing to joke about and just kind of steamroll right over it. Holy moly, it was $20 for a pack of these feathers that I could probably just collect at the river? That's crazy. And I always reassure her that when I die soon, she will be able to sell it all for top dollar. It's like a life insurance policy. I make all these jokes while wearing my golden pheasant hat, which doesn't smell great, by the way. To my knowledge, there aren't any fly anglers or fly tyers in my family tree besides for me. But I was fascinated by birds at a pretty early age and influenced by my grandpa on my mom's side. He had the full Audubon collection of field guides on birds, and he was also a carpenter who liked to spend his free time carving beautiful birds out of wood. Everything from a kiwi to owls to kestrels and pelicans. I'd sometimes even play a small role in the creation of these birds by collecting materials for him to use. It might be some sand from the beach for a shorebird carving, rocks, or driftwood, but it made me feel like I was part of it and most likely contributed to my lifelong fascination with birds. Becoming a fly tyer and angler might have been inevitable. I can't say for sure, but my grandpa loved birds and it rubbed off on me. I've said many times on the show that I will spend about the same amount of time bird watching when I'm on the water as I do fishing, and I'm not even really a twitcher or a lister yet. I still just consider myself an amateur birder. I will graduate to twitcher or lister status eventually, I'm sure. And you know what? That's a perfect segue into what was supposed to be my end of episode content recommendation, but I lined it up nicely for right now, so I'll just give it to you. If you're at all like me, you might have already been pushed by your YouTube algorithm to watch the extreme birdwatching documentary called Listers. I've been pushing it on all of my close friends, so I figure why not push it to you people too. The short description of this documentary is, two brothers learn about competitive birdwatching by becoming birdwatchers, spending a year living in a used minivan, traveling the country to compete in a big year. I'm an amateur, like I said, and I hadn't even heard of the term lister or big year in relation to birdwatching until this doc came out. I'll explain to you in case you weren't already aware of these terms. A lister is a birder who keeps detailed lists of the bird species they have seen or heard. Yes, they keep track of birds they don't even actually see. It's often focusing on accumulating a large number of species on their life list or in regional lists. Since I mentioned the term twitcher earlier, I'll hit that one real quick too, since it's also a term for a birdwatcher. Twitching is the act of traveling great distances to see a specific rare bird that has been reported, usually to add that bird to the birdwatcher's personal life list. A big year is basically a personal challenge to identify the maximum number of bird species within a specific geographic area during a single calendar year. It's a competition, but one based on the honor system. And these folks take that honor system pretty serious, as you'll find out if you watch this documentary. The two brothers are funny, and the whole idea started as a tongue-in-cheek sort of challenge, but they end up getting pulled into full-on birding as they add birds to their list and feel the spirit of the competition. They don't take themselves too seriously, which is a quality I always appreciate. And on top of that, they capture stunningly beautiful video and photos of all sorts of cool birds all over the country. They meet fellow birders in strange parking lots to collect tips on where to find certain species. They have tough days and great days, and I enjoyed the whole story. I hope you do too. I'll link to it in the show notes, of course. If you're a fly tyer and don't love birds, what the heck is going on in your brain anyway? Don't tell me. I don't actually want to know, and I wasn't expecting an answer. I did expect my guest, David Nelson, to answer my many questions about his squimpish fibers, though, and he did. I can prove it by sharing this interview with you. Well, pleasure to virtually meet you, dude.
Yeah, man, definitely too.
Yeah.
I like the gar behind you. Are those gar?
They are, yeah.
That's cool.
I did an episode on gar with some buddies earlier for this season too, and I've never caught one. I really want to.
Right.
We
Yeah.
don't have them out here, but
They seem cool. You know, along with there's a lot of alternative species that seem like very cool, like bowfin and like,
yeah.
you know, obviously barracuda or like you know, like not everybody's cup of tea, but
seems cool to me, man. I want to do it. It's on my list, high up on my list.
are you an angler that will fish for anything?
Yeah, I'm down for whatever, man. I
me
mean,
too, man.
Yeah.
You know, carp, whatever. It's all like I could care less as long as it's fun and it's like in some way sight fishing or swinging. I'm happy.
Yeah, I've been trying to get myself off of the steelhead obsession. Really, like it's like I want to branch out more, but I'm down for whatever.
Where do you make your home?
I'm in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're close, relatively close to American River, right?
Right. It's right down the street. I'm about 10 minutes away. Yeah.
Right. And then you can go up north to Humboldt and like really fish some good steelhead rivers.
Yeah. Have you been to the American River? You fished out here?
I haven't. I lived in Arcata for a while.
Okay. All right.
And Eureka, Trinidad. Believe it or not, I was just a deadhead at the time, and like I took a bunch of hippies fishing on the eel.
Cool.
We went upriver, like hiked upriver, and we didn't know that we were right by the hatchery. We were catching like all these like smolts, that were like this. But like everybody was psyched because it was like action,
Yeah. Very cool, man. I didn't know you had any NorCal connections like that. I was going to ask you where you're located and how you ended up there, but we're starting to get there already.
Yeah, well, I grew up in White Plains, and I went to college locally. I stayed off campus. It's a SUNY Purchase. It's like a state university in New York, probably about 15 minutes from White Plains. Art school, studied literature, women's studies, a lot of liberal stuff, to say the least. I got a teaching degree in secondary school English, which I never did anything with. I tried I try to like, a leave replacement and substitute type of stuff. And it really wasn't for me. I think I was too young. I was like 25 or so, or 26. So, but like halfway through college, I decided to like check out a different lifestyle. And I took a Greyhound bus out to California and ended up in Arcata with my backpack and a surfboard. And I mean, what a time.
Yeah,
Like,
right on.
like, I didn't have any money, but thumbs go a long way. Smiles and good vibes go a long way up in that area. And I was able to find some work to just keep up with, I guess getting some bud and food at times. And I liked it out there, but I was in love with a woman, so I came back here. Started a family, put roots down, went back to the restaurant business, which is what I had done through like 18 through like 23, was working in restaurants, and ended up opening a restaurant that was wildly successful. And then I got a chance, I would say about 8 years after that, to open my own place. And I've been open about 16 years now. I'm in a town called Darien, Connecticut.
Cool.
It's a nice town. It's very affluent, well-heeled clientele. Made it through COVID, no problem. And we're doing really well. And the town itself is like got huge development going on. So it's like, it's just getting busier. Like I'd say in the last year, within a mile of my place, like a dozen places have opened up, and we haven't felt it at all.
Wow, right on, man.
So it's good. I have we kind of run it like a country club. Like we get to see a lot of people like 2 or 3 times a week.
That's cool. Yeah, man. I have a buddy. I mean, I love food, and I have a buddy that owns a pizza shop, and it's so inspiring to see those kind of success stories. So I knew that you were a restaurateur, but what's the name of your restaurant? I wasn't able to dig that up.
1020 Post, and it's the words.
Cool.
Versus the numbers.
Okay.
But the address is the numbers 1020 Post. Post Road is also called US 1. It goes from Florida up past Boston.
Okay.
It's like the East Coast. The precursor to I-95 was US 1. So we're on 1020 Post Road in Darien. I'm sure there's a 1020 Post in just about every, state and city along the Eastern Seaboard, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess we went with the name. We have like our logo at first was like a post with like a hanging shingle, like an old like apothecary or something like that.
That's cool.
And then we changed to a oyster shell because we're an oyster bar bistro.
Okay, I was gonna ask, man. I love oysters.
Yeah, a lot of fresh. I do eight types of oysters every day.
Nice.
We have like 5 or 6 different kinds of fish, and then like soup, salads, burgers, steaks, like the works. And being busy, you have the luxury of having like super fresh product all the time. Like we're busy 7 days a week. Some busier than others, obviously, right? Like maybe Tuesday might be slow, but like Monday, a lot of places are closed around us, and we get the benefit of that. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, blowing it out of the water. Awesome. Great team. I've had I think about a quarter of my employees have been with me for 16 years, which is like, for my business, pretty good. My executive chef was like originally a line cook. We do a lot of promoting from within. I was lucky enough to have an incredible chef opening. His name is Roland. He was with us 7 years. He unfortunately got sick and passed on, but like he like made a recipe book for the basics for the menu, like all the salad dressings, all the doughs, because we make everything from scratch, like
awesome.
Demi-glaces, all that stuff, right? And he was able to train the staff to like do basic preparation, pan searing, grilling, seasoning, etc. And I have a great team. I wouldn't be anywhere without my guys,
Yeah.
And that's on the front side too. Like, I think I'm picky a little bit about hiring. I don't really work the greatest with alpha, like type A personalities that like come in like I'm the superstar server, I'm the superstar bartender, and we're not a pool house. So like, people make what they make, like what they earn, right? Like it's a merit, like if you're really good at your job and you can handle a big section and deal with a lot of tables, you'll make a lot of money. But that being said, like I have a really nice team and I'm really proud of them, and we're doing well. So
man, that's awesome. I love seafood. Could eat it every day.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's awesome.
raw, fresh. I get jealous of what
Yeah.
you guys get on the West Coast, man. I've seen stuff and I'm like, what the F is that?
Yeah.
Like,
We're a little spoiled with stuff like that, I suppose. And
right.
Mexican food for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into that too.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, that's so cool. Well, the reason I got you here, I mean, well, first off, you're the first guest in 4 seasons that asked me if there was anything you could do to prepare for our interview.
oh, really?
Nobody's ever asked me that before. So I appreciate that and calling me to get this, all confirmed and set up. And, you're also the first material creator I've had on the show. So I'm stoked to talk about that stuff. I've had the Hermit Boys from Finland on to talk about their handheld vise that they've made. And I had Hogan Brown on to talk about Flashaboo, but he didn't like develop Flashaboo. He's just a wealth of knowledge. And
Right.
so I'm talking to the guy though that's behind the material for once. And it's super cool.
That's awesome, man. I literally could go on about it. I can go back on my Instagram feed, which is I've only been on Instagram for like 5 or 6 years, but like I remember how it all started, which was I found a really cool provider and the material looked insane, and I spent like I don't know 120 bucks and bought like 6 different colors from this website, right? And they came in these like patches like craft fur, but the hair was a lot longer. And I chopped them all up and I made like 10 bags. And I was like, I put them on my Instagram page. I said, hey, I just found a really cool synthetic material. I got 10 bags of 15 colors each, and it's like $50. Like not knowing at all how it would go. And it was gone in like 2 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So then I took the $600 that I made from that, and I like re-upped again, and I did the same thing again, right? And the same thing happened. Like I was gone in it was gone in a day or two, right?
Wow.
And then my wife Stephanie was like, "There's obviously something here."
Yeah.
She went to school for marketing, even though she was working for an insurance company. She's like, "I'm gonna make an Etsy page and sell this stuff."
Have a store, yeah.
Right, like a store.
Yeah.
And literally before you knew it, it was like we had our own website and we were like selling. I was very fortunate, and I think it had a lot to do with just the personal relationships. Like, I don't know necessarily what you do for a living, but like, I think that personal relationships make the world go round. Like, right?
Every business doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to be friends with Nathaniel Linville, who owns the angling company in Key West, who is probably one of the better tarpon permit fishermen in the world. Like he's just on a different level than most people. Winning tournaments and all that. I think he's on the Del Brown Merkin. He's won his first Gold Cup last year. Blah blah blah. Scott Wessels from the Bears Den, which is like one of the Northeast premier fly shops.
Okay.
And then Scott Bennett, who owns the Complete Angler in Darien, which is up the street from me. These 3 guys took me into their shop like immediately, like sight unseen, like, with our janky packaging and like everything else. Like
they trusted you. Yeah.
They trusted us. They trusted the product, and it branched out from there. I think Steph's got us in now 50 shops in America. We're in like 5 other countries and growing. It's an American-made product, which is like really cool.
That's
right?
Cool.
I always think so.
It's tough these days. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's a women-owned business. I don't want to like give out the secret sauce necessarily, right? But at the same time, like they pivoted from wig making to like I guess they had the machines that could extrude polyester to make wigs, and then they switched to motocrylic fiber, which is what Squimpish hair is. I'm not aware that motocrylic is used in any fly tying materials out there right now.
Never heard the term. I've never heard the term. Yeah.
It's another type of it. Usually see it as a fiber.
Okay.
It's a flame resistant, flame retardant built in. The colors are built in. They're dyed in. They don't bleed out. Squimpish hair takes a Copic marker or like Pantone marker pretty well.
Sure.
If you catch 5 or 6 or 10 fish on them, it's going to start fading out, but like it does take it. And I was looking for something that would be like different than kinky fiber, slinky fiber, big hair fiber, Congo fiber. Like I had tried every synthetic fiber under the sun. and had not been happy with any of it. Loved fin raccoon, loved polar bear, loved like even the softer stuff like sheep fleece, and like I loved natural materials. Like can't say enough about that. Like egret fibers, heron fibers, rhea fibers. Like I loved all that stuff. I couldn't get enough of that stuff, right? But I was like, at some point, you want something synthetic that's a little tougher, that doesn't fall apart as easily, and that the normal Joe can work with. Because, like, I told you I'd bring some flies to show.
Yeah.
So, like, you say you're in Steelhead, right? So, like,
I am, yeah. There we go. Yeah.
You get the right profile here, right?
It's tight.
Okay, right. So it's a stripped piece of rhea that's wound on a shank, and then it's counterwound with some flash.
Okay.
And it's got a little hair wing, and then like just some like guinea at front, right? But not everybody's got like the hand-eye coordination to wrap like to first of all split the rhea, peel the rhea off the shaft, and then counterwound it. Like
you have to like soak that too to pull it off that way.
Yeah, it works a lot better if you soak it, definitely, as with any feather that you're stripping. So I figure, like maybe you can come up with something that like can find the best of all the worlds. And I'm not saying it's perfect. It's got a time and a place, but like the way that we've started incorporating it into, for example, brushes, bigger fly brushes or composite brushes, which like with the intention to tie a fly to, I think is setting us apart, from the rest of the brush world. For example, like I know Enrico Puglisi personally, like spent time with him. I've stayed at my friend Ben Rinker's house. He's incredible, like innovator, right? But like I don't, other than his like Semolata brushes, or I forget the exact name.
The EP brush, yeah.
Yeah, like he's got his like Foxy brushes and his like Swarmalata brushes, and other than that, I'm not really interested in like using any of the brushes because they're not full enough, dense enough. You have to put like 15 turns of a brush on to get the density you're looking for, which gets to be wasteful, right? So we started making brushes like composite steelhead brushes that like, would have like a very short core and followed by a long wing. And then all it would take, so the brushes would be designed to like tie 9 to 12 flies.
Okay. Yeah,
you would just cut a piece off, put a tag on your hook or your shank, wrap forward, and then wrap all the long stuff in the same spot, and it would make that perfect like umbrella intruder shape, right?
Profile, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So guys they're struggling with composite loops, like Jerry French style composite loops, or like trying to put together something a little complicated. Well, they have a great base now. Like, so you could just do that and then maybe put a couple of fibers of Amherst or rhea,
dress it up a little bit.
Dress it up a little bit. Maybe some saddles over the sides, right? And be very happy. Like, I tied a tarpon bug for a friend the other day that was like similar way. It just was like, this doesn't have a brush in it, but it has an albino peacock eye.
Okay. Yeah.
That like fills out the belly. And I loved like the natural materials, like in terms of like using Cree like over the backs of flies too.
Is that your dog trying to get in there?
Yeah, but I have a couple of dogs in the house. They're probably gonna be bothering me this whole time.
Oh, yeah, that's all good. Mine does the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my pups. They're 5 now, and they're litter mates. We adopted them from Texas back literally like a month before we got locked down. We had no idea what was going on. But we had put our family dog down a year or two prior. So like we adopted a dog, and then before you know it, we were like homebound for months. And what a great time! What a great time to train. To train your dogs.
Yeah, I saw a snoot sneak into the side there. Yeah, those flies are cool, man. Is the squimp fiber on that black one you showed me? Is that just the hair wing? Is that what's on there?
So you know what? This was an all natural material. But for example, I did bring one up. So
yeah, there we go.
So I gotta get the right profile for your view. This is just like literally two turns of a brush and a little bit of Squimpish hair on the wing, right? Like a kind of a perfect baitfish profile. That's on a hook. Going a little bigger.
Yeah.
Two brushes on this. Like 2 different length brushes. There's like a longer one that's got. I did a tail of Squimpish hair in the middle.
Okay.
A longer brush and a shorter brush, and I'd say over the last couple of years, I've been learning to fill up the head with a bit of dubbing.
Cool.
For smaller flies, I like to use laser dub.
Yeah.
And then for bigger flies, there's so many options, but like I love Latera's Magnum Dub. And what I'll do is I'll coat the heads of the flies so that they become like squishy.
Okay. All right.
Right. So like here's a bigger herring kind of pattern, right?
Big boy. Yeah.
Right. So the heads itself are a little squishy. Now what they'll do is they don't allow water to go through the front of the fly.
Mm-hmm.
It deflects the water off the front of the fly, and then it kicks over the backs and the shoulders and through the belly, which makes the fly swim really well.
Is that, what do you think, 8 inches, 10 inches?
This thing is about 9 inches, probably 10 inches, right?
What are you hunting for with that? What is it?
This is a striped bass fly, I would say.
A striper fly. All right.
Yes, striper fly. When they're on herring or the like Atlantic alewives that are coming up, those are the size of them, you know?
Yeah.
So this is like a pretty standard size fly for striped bass. Okay. I probably have a couple of different colors, similar kind of thing. Two different size brushes. You know, you use a long brush to get the length, and a shorter brush to keep the front profile with a duck head.
I'm seeing the advantage of those long, like extra long fibers that you're getting out of this material now, too, and the taper there. Yeah,
I would say that okay, so I'm gonna go put my dogs in my room really quick just because they're starting to whine and get annoyed.
Yeah.
Most of the South American guys are getting the material for Dorado.
Okay. Yeah.
Which typically, I think they're trying to tie like 5 to 7 inch baits, and then almost all the European guys are tying pike flies with the kids.
Here's the first like hollow one that I've tried on here.
Nice.
I was trying to get a little smaller.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, so this is the first hollow type fly I've even ever tried.
That's cool, man.
There's some things I could obviously tighten up on it, but I was going to ask you. You're talking a lot about brushes. And I like spinning loops, and I was trying to spin some squimp hair into a loop to tie kind of an intruder style fly and see what I could do. What's a good tip there? Is it like kind of a less is more thing? Because it's essentially making a little brush, like right there.
Yeah, I use an Oasis fly tying table.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of that particular brand.
Mm-mm.
So I'm not doing composite loops with like split thread or like Kevlar. I'm using a brush table.
Okay.
Like a proper brush table with heavy duty wire.
Right.
And I'm laying it out. You build them up. You do them like you pull the fibers out. You lay them out fairly evenly.
Mm.
You crank from one side. You crank from the other side. If you want to see what I'm talking about, I've got a brush table that I can grab it.
Well, I've seen a brush table before.
Okay.
Yeah, but so you're saying, so say I wanted to tie one just with a regular loop. I'm not going to split the thread, but I'm just going to make a loop like I'm doing a dubbing loop.
Yeah, I would recommend using wire.
Okay, all right.
Versus thread. What happens with thread is it tends to compress all the fibers into a small place, while the wire allows the space for the what's it called, for the things to spin around and make a nice little brush.
Yeah.
I was going to see if I could hold a couple up. I could hold a little.
Yeah.
I don't know if it shows, but it's a short brush and a long brush.
Short in the front. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'll always put just a tail in because the brushes are never as long as the actual tail.
Okay.
So if you actually want to get like the taper of the fly, I tie in like a short tail, and you could put feathers in too in the tail, and you do like a little bit of brush, long brush, a little bit of short brush, a dubbed head, and it's all done.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've been trying other things with it too, like a hair wing on kind of classic style, and then a belly.
Yeah,
on like a sculpin. Instead of I think the recipe wanted craft fur, or something, and I had
it's a perfect sub when you're looking for just a little bit more length. What I tell is pretty much anybody that comes, because we do the Edison show every year, Stephanie and I, and we see a lot of people. We've been doing it now 5 years probably, right? And how do you use this stuff? Really easy. Do you tie flies with bucktail? Yes. Are you ever looking for a longer bucktail or to extend your bucktail somehow? Yeah, of course. We're always looking for that beautiful 5 to 7 inch bucktail that we can't find. We're all stuck with this 3 to 4 inch crap, right?
Yeah.
That's where it comes in the best.
Okay.
Work it in with your bucktail. Like however you use your bucktail, just throw in some fibers of the Squimpish hair to get your length or your taper or how you're looking for it is one way. When you were talking about tying hollow flies, one of the great things about it being a synthetic is that if you tie it, in reverse, so your fibers are over hook eye, and you push it back with a pen, right? And you grab all your fibers so it's all going back, and you just literally touch the base with some super glue.
Okay.
It'll hold. You can kind of push it into the profile that you want it to be. So, like for example, like I had one over here that was like a hollow fly. Actually, this isn't the one that I was looking for. Here it is.
Yeah.
I was looking for fairly deep belly, deep shape, right? Bunker shape, some kind of porgy shape, some kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And what's actually in here, when you open it up, it probably won't come through, but there's a tail, and then there's a really high tide top piece, like that's got a steep angle on it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then I brought the belly forward too. I did another same thing on the next piece, steep angled, right?
Yeah.
And then the other ones were tied in flat, so that these steep angled ones are the ones that actually hold the shape of the fly. You're not doing reverse ties or hollow ties the whole way up.
Okay.
You might just put one or two in the back and in the middle that are really, really, vertical.
Yeah.
And then when you actually flat tie,
so would you get that from giving less of the material up in front when you're tying it in? Because you're tying it in backwards, right? Already for the hollow. And so are you leaving less of a tag in front to get a steeper angle on that, or what?
Like I typically tie sparse to full.
Okay.
Going back to forward, right?
Okay.
But in terms of the steepness, I probably keep the volume of hair just slightly increasing as it goes forward.
I guess
right?
tying up against it and kind of damming it up a little bit might stand it up.
So that's the part that's okay, you don't with this hair, you don't need to dam it. You don't have to do those cones in front to push it back and get the right angle.
All right.
You literally can just use a little super glue, right? Or you can just take your fingers against the fly, against the shank, against the hair, and preen it, right?
Okay.
And it'll hold the angle like a good angle.
All right.
Now, if you want it flatter, because different baitfish have different shapes. Do you know James Shaughnessy from Beulah?
I don't think so. No.
He's the owner and proprietor of Beulah Fly Rods, which is it's a great company. They make some great spay rods and some lands. But he's got a great program for roosterfish and other fish down in Mexico, for example, right?
Yeah.
And he's just obsessed with this stuff for sardines.
Okay.
And now a sardine pattern is an interesting pattern because it's not really, it's like a deep shape pattern. It's more of a
less fat.
Yeah. So it's more of I don't know.
Like a torpedo almost.
Yeah, it's almost like a torpedo. I've got one there.
Yeah.
This one hasn't been wet for a while, but you can kind of again see this stuff when it hits the water goes like that.
Yeah.
So it makes that more slender shape, right? And it doesn't really on the paws. It's not like it goes like that. It doesn't push out like a lot of big flies do.
Yeah.
But he'll be like, dude, your shit's it's the best stuff for sardine patterns, and he'll send me flies, pictures of flies that are nicer than anything that I tie. And I'm like, and this is what you're fishing your clients with? And I love that.
Yeah.
Going out with a guy that has great flies, whether it be a steelhead guy, flats guy, any guy that has awesome flies instead of really shitty flies, I'm always impressed with,
Man, so what do you think? What's your best selling color or
white
materials? Is it just white?
Hands down white.
Yeah. I got ice white, and I got chartreuse and rainbow. to tie clousers and stuff with, mostly for
That's great.
bass around here.
Did you see Tim Flagor's video about tying a synthetic clouser with Squimpish hair?
I don't think I have. I guess I got to look that up.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's a really nice tutorial, very simply done, and I think the fly looks beautifully effective, and like and I literally never even considered it. Like I did commercial fly tying for a while. I would never tie somebody a clouser. I'm like, there's so many clousers in the fly shops. Like my clousers will be nothing different than your clousers. Like there's nothing special about the clouser that I'm going to tie you.
Yeah, sure.
But if you want something a little different, I'm happy to do that for you. I love that when you said you were into steelhead, because like I tied flies for steelhead anglers for 5 years before I ever fished for steelhead.
Really? Yeah, man.
Like tubes and shanks with the craziest materials out there. Rhea and albino peacock that was dyed, and polar bear and everything. I mean, do you know the fly tyer Paul Miller?
That sounds familiar. Yeah,
he was really good. I think he had the first fly that was $15 in the Welch's Fly Shop catalog, and it was like tied with Ray, and like
big intruder.
People made a big deal on the internet. Like, how can anybody be tying like a $15 fly? Like, right? But when you actually look at the cost of the materials and the time it takes to tie it, you're like, he should be charging 30.
There's a bunch of those in the shop now, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
I read that I saw you were on like the cover of Saltwater Fly Fishing magazine for tying, but you're not tying on a commercial basis anymore. It's just
was.
I mean, you've got a restaurant and a
that was 2006
material business. I guess
that was like 2006 or 2008. I remember I met Henry Cowan at a fly fishing show in Edison, and he asked to see my fly box, and I had one of those big blue water fly boxes tied with giant flies, right? All different, bucktail, rayo, all combinations of strip, peacock, pearl, like all sorts of stuff. And he's like, these are really unique. I don't think I've seen this style anywhere yet. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And before you knew it, he had an article out called like the New Old School or the Old New School. I can't remember how it was called, right? But the cover, he was like, it was mortifying. Is David Nelson the sport's best new fly tire?
Oh, right on the cover.
Yeah. And I'm like,
no big deal. Yeah.
Listen, man, there's some. I love what I do. I enjoy it. I love fishing. I love giving gifts. So when people ask me for flies now, I certainly get a request every week somewhere to say, hey, can you tie me a dozen flies? I'll say, I'm not doing that anymore, but I'll happily send you 2 as a gift.
Yeah.
And I do it.
I mean, you're obviously super creative. Like food stuff, it takes just as much creativity, I think, too. And you've kind of birthed, from what I've been looking around online, and, once I got this stuff, starting to hunt around on YouTube and to look at different people tying with it and stuff, like it seemed to have like birthed almost like its own fly platform or pattern, like they call a squimp style fly, right? So like
there's a fly tyer out called Jason Taylor. He is his name is Fly and By on Instagram.
Okay.
So like I wouldn't say that he was like a Padawan learner or like a disciple, but I'd consider him more of a peer.
An intern.
Almost, but more of a peer in the sense of he already had skills when we met, right?
Yeah.
But he maybe he grabbed like a technique or two and he ran with it and he did his own thing, which is exactly like what I did with like most of Bob Povic's stuff or most of like Sid Glasso's stuff or Jerry French's or any of the great people that I admire, right? You grab something about what they do and you kind of like run with it and make it your own, whether it be with a different material. Maybe it's a technique. Maybe it's a look. I'm not really, it's hard to discern what flow is and what style is, right? But like, I could look at one of Jason Taylor's flies in a second. So going back to what you say, the Squimpish style, I think the Squimpish style was one of like just a good profile, because Squimpish is an anagram for squid, shrimp, fish, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because I figured, what do all game fish eat? They're all eating either squid, they're eating shrimp, or they're eating bait fish,
Looks
right?
just like me.
Right? So, right. So I would try to come up with patterns that would fill all the gaps in one fly at times. Maybe you throw a bunch of how sometimes on intruders they'll throw in a bunch of saddle hackles in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So I would use shorter, flatter ones, and that would make the carapace of a shrimp.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? But there'd still be this flowing hackle, right? That would almost look like, oh, that actually looks like a bait fish if you just hold it up to the light and it's dark and it's wet. It looks like a bait fish. It doesn't look like a shrimp, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a good one. It's a brush fly.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you're not really catching it. So it's a brush fly, but in the brush, I put in a whole bunch of rhea.
Oh yeah, no, I can see that.
And monkey.
All that fuchsia.
And monkey and as I made the brush, it was 15-inch long brush. I would lay down, cut rhea, pieces of colobus monkey, a little bit squimpish hair, right? All this different stuff.
How did I not know that people are using monkey hair? That's
okay. Oh my God.
I didn't I haven't got that deep yet, I guess.
There's a website in Europe called, I think, monkey salmon fly tires.
Oh, okay.
There's a famous salmon fly called the sunray shadow, right? And it's literally just a black wing on a tube or a hook.
What's the pattern called again?
It's called the sunray shadow.
Okay.
There's also a fly called the monkey, and they use monkey, right? Like legitimate colobus monkey. Now, this brings me to a little bit of the ethics of a lot of the different things, right? Sure. Is that okay, if a monkey's been dead for 70 years and in a jacket, right?
Sure.
And it's just sitting on a thrift store rack, and I go in with my wife. We're just looking at stuff, books, whatever, and I look on the rack, and there's a monkey jacket there, right? I think it deserves to be used. It's not like I'm killing a monkey. The monkey's already been dead, dude. I didn't kill it.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't kill it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. At the same sense, if I was more proficient with a bow or a gun, I would probably kill my own turkeys and pheasants, right? But I'm not so good with that.
Yeah.
I don't have an ethics problem with killing the animal to use it. But that being said, so I'll buy those other things. So the point is that every once in a while I find a monkey jacket in a thrift store or on eBay that's affordable. When I say affordable, I mean, let's say it's $100, right? And when I look at it, I'm I could cut this up into 30 portions, make 25 fly tires. So happy. I could give them basically a retail version of $70 worth of hair for $25, which everybody loves. Is a good deal, right?
Yeah.
I did it on Spay Pages last year. I sold 30 packs of fucking hair, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm hey, I'm giving you a generous amount for $25. Do you want it or not? And people were oh yeah, but I want it.
What's that? What's something that I could, you could compare?
It'd be the perfect back. It would be the perfect back or wing for a temple dog fly.
Okay.
I don't know if you know a temple dog style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or any steelhead hair wing. The shorter hair would be great for a steelhead hair wing. Anything you're going to put a black hair over. So, when you think about a green-butt skunk or something, right? That has a white either calf-tail or polar bear hair on it. Mm-hmm. At the same time, there's plenty of flies that have a dark wing on the back, right?
Yeah.
I've tied them with just a black wing and then a very short-throated fin raccoon, on a tube. And for some reason that comes together and picky fish eat that shit. Where I go and I'm you know what? They don't want a white zonker. They don't want a black Dalai Lama. They don't want this. They don't want that. They don't want to fly this big. They want to fly that big, 2.5 inches, right? And it's well, but they didn't want that woolly bugger that was 2.5 inches. Why did they eat this one with the black monkey hair and just a little bit of fin raccoon in the throat? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I think it has something to do with the way the natural materials work in the water,
Yeah.
which then brings us back to like, why did I get into the Squimpish hair thing? Because this stuff swims great, man. It looks really good in the water, especially if you mix it in with some other natural materials or accents. Like,
Yeah.
it really
It
does.
doesn't retain water really either. It's easy to cast.
First back cast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Everything snaps off. So
Man, this monkey hair thing. Like, while doing some show prep, like I was watching an interview with you.
So you, after we get off, you got to send me your address. I'll send you.
Oh,
I'm gonna send you a care package that is gonna blow your
oh
mind. Right?
man. Oh
All right.
shit.
I'll send you some monkey, polar bear.
Oh hell
Do you
yeah.
have Ray at home?
I don't. No.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
send you some Ray, albino
Oh,
peacock.
jeez Louise.
There's
Spoiling me.
yeah. You know, people deserve to be spoiled, brother. That's
Oh
like
man.
that's the world we're in. You know.
Cheers to you, dude. I was gonna say I was watching an interview with you, and you taught me about a material that I had never heard before. Not even the monkey hair, but bird fur, right?
Yeah.
I love that I continually learn new things in this fly tying world just by snooping around and talking to people, and like, you know.
So bird fur is, from what I understand, the first, second, and third generation spay hackle that Whiting tried to develop, like Tom tried to develop with his chickens, right?
Third, what do you mean by third generation?
So like they do when they do breeding of chickens, they'll like say, okay, we're gonna cross this chicken with this chicken to get a result, right?
Okay.
So that's the first generation.
Generation one, yeah.
Right, that's generation one. And then we're gonna take these two and we're gonna put these together, we get generation two, right? So it took them a while to develop spay hackle for whiting, right? Like actual what they would call spay hackle. Now, their bird fur. This fly is tied with bird fur in the tail.
Okay. Yeah.
If you actually examine what the feather looks like,
yeah,
that is very close to like what a spay hackle would look like.
It's super
right?
spay hackly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the problem is the stem is so delicate in some ways, right?
Okay.
And the fibers don't want to lay back or forward. So have you ever seen what Cheech and the guys at Fly Fish Food called the compound twist, or they take some chenille and a feather and they twist it together?
Yeah.
So if you do that with bird fur, you can get the most incredible effects.
Yeah, you're
because
making a little brush type thing in a way. Yeah.
Yep, and then you brush out all the strap fibers, and you get this incredible effect. So
yeah, because they're essentially like putting the feather up against the chenille and wrapping it together, right?
Well, they'll twist it into a rope.
They twist it first, and then they wrap it all together. Okay.
Yep.
I did see that on YouTube.
I think they call it the complex twist or the compound twist. I can't remember the exact name. I did a lot of steelhead flies on spay pages using that material. I'll use like some whiting spay hackle, like maybe a hen feather, like some kind of like polar chenille, right? And just do it all together, and then wrap it and pick it out, brush it out, however, finish it with a guinea collar. It's like you can't even figure out like, how did you tie it? Like, what did you do? People like open up the flies and they're trying to figure out like, how did you do this? And it's like, no, I just spun it all together on a rope, and I wrapped it forward, and then, folding it back as I wrapped it forward, and then I picked it out, and it's like, it's a cool technique. So go back to the bird fur. Bird fur is so mobile in the water. It swims so great. I love that it's inexpensive. You can still find it for like $7 a pack, right? All colors in the world. And
yeah, we got kind of diverted there because we were talking about the third generation. So like when that third generation of or the hackles that they were trying to make, that resulted in the bird fur.
So the third generation of bird fur finally got them to an acceptable spay hackle.
Okay.
And then they graded their spay hackle silver, bronze, and pro. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would say then the first 4 generations of spay hackle from whiting were pretty shitty. They weren't great, man. A lot of broken tips, right?
Okay.
A lot of like feathers that were not quite useless.
Buying feathers is tough. Buying feathers without seeing them is tough.
And then they just nailed it. Tom he nailed it. The last generation or 2 or 3 that he made of spay hackle in the silver grade, I swear to God, every single feather on those skins are and there's hundreds of feathers in different sizes. It's not like So I'm talking about the cock necks or the
neck hackle,
right. I'm not talking about the space saddles or the capes that they sell right now, which are certainly adequate for lots of different uses, right? But I'm talking about these spay necks that they would make. They were so perfect. And you can still find them, but they're pricey. They're like $100. Like if you can find them in Europe or somewhere, like every once in a while, Waters West pops up with one, or somebody like has a supply somehow. I don't know where they're getting them from. I think I was one of the original members of the Whiting Pro staff.
Oh yeah,
a long time ago, right? When BJ was in charge of it, I didn't renew it. I had a hard time wearing the patches. Like when you go to the show and everybody's got like 52 patches, like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
I always had a hard time with that. I don't mind supporting my business.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, like I had a hard time with like they had a requirement of like you had to do X number of shows and X number of like product plugs, and I'm like, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So I never renewed.
It's a job all of a sudden. Yeah.
Right. And I've written them 3 times now about the spay hackle because it shows up in shops, right? When it shouldn't. Like it's a gone product. So they're still obviously making some and giving it to select people, right, to sell.
Yeah.
And I would just love to get my hands on some more. I mean, I've got a lot of colors, but those last generation ones they made, man, dude, they were perfect. I'll put some in your package as well.
Man. Just pile it on, man.
I'll pile it on.
Man, so I mean, backing up just a little bit. First of all, thanks to Mrs. Squimpish for helping me set this up. She had emailed me back when you were out on a trip or something. And is it just you two running the operation? Is it?
Yeah. And we actually just moved. We just moved the business from the upstairs. We have an upstairs bedroom, like a big bedroom upstairs on the second floor of the house that she took over for an office like 4 years ago, right? And was running it out of there. She's opening a business. She just opened a business in Hancock, New York, called Fish Whistle Trading Post.
Okay, what's that? What's that about?
So it's a gift store, fly fishing store, vintage, modern fly tackle, consignment, flies, tippet, floating. It's not a fly shop. Like we're not pulling in Loomis and Sage and like big wraps. Like it's just basic stuff for the river. It's soaps, candles, CBD stuff, maple syrup, toys, lollipops, flies tied by local tires, flies tied by our pro staff tires. Like there's a fly bar, books, and magazines. Right. That's one half of the store. The other half of the store is opening sometime in the next 3 days to 2 weeks, depending on when New York State decides to come and inspect us. It's going to be a boutique cannabis dispensary.
Oh man.
It is what would be
speaking my language over there. Yeah.
Sent a voicemail.
Man, this is combining worlds that are it's in a fantastic way that I don't think anybody's really done. Done yet.
I would say about 15 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, I met a guide up on the Upper Delaware. I'm a trout. By the way, I'm a trout bum. A trout stop, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can read that.
Not Weed Farm, Hancock, New York. All right.
Yeah. So Ben
got a little fly line coming out of the K with the
like
a leaf. Yeah.
So Ben was like one of the initiators of getting in on the hemp thing, the CBD thing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We built out infrastructure, took investors, one investor grew a ton of CBD. And then as soon as New York State allowed for recreational growing, right, he was like right there ready to go, which was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Man.
And so and then this year, New York State allowed what they called a micro business license, which allows the farmer to not only grow it, but to process it and sell it himself. So we partnered with him, and he's the other half of the store. We took an old brownstone building in the middle of Hancock, New York, which is the center of the Delaware system. There's, probably like 6 major rivers within 20 minutes. You have the West Branch, the East Branch, the Upper East Branch, the Lower East Branch, the Upper West Branch, the main stem, the Beaverkill, the Willwemock.
What kind of dogs do you have?
They look like lab pit bulls. And
I thought it was a lab snout.
One of their siblings came over from Texas as well, and that person put them on Instagram, and they did the genetic testing for the dog, and they found out that they were a boxer, pug, Pyrenees, and chow. So they're very aggressive with small animals and small children. I think that's the chow.
Yeah.
They're very protective, which is the Pyrenees part, right? But they're sweet. They're girls. They're they're litter mates, and we raise them separate. They got their own crates. They've been separately trained. Like we don't have the litter mate syndrome that you typically see with dogs. Or there. But I can't wait for the dispensary to open.
Yeah.
The fly shop itself, or the gift store, is certainly holding its own. We had our grand opening last weekend. It's been open now for about 2.5 weeks. So we had a soft opening, and then the grand opening was last weekend. 40% of the people coming through the door are asking for flour and when the dispensary is going to be open, which is understandable because you have to go like basically 40 miles in either direction to find a dispensary.
Yeah, shit.
And we're literally 5 minutes from Pennsylvania, which doesn't have legal marijuana. And so I'm sure we'll get some traffic from Pennsylvania too.
Yeah, man, you're about to be very busy.
Well, Steph has been doing literally I'd say the last 4 weeks. She's been doing 7 days a week up there. I miss her. She has she's coming home a couple days a week here and there once to visit, and it's
Yeah, how far away is this from home?
2 hours.
Okay.
So it's not undoable. I went up last weekend for 3 or 4 days. I went up the weekend before for 3 or 4 days, help at the store. Did a lot of work at the store in March and April. Where my skill set is, which is painting and maybe some sanding of sheetrock. But I can paint pretty well. So I tried to help as much as I could.
Yeah.
One of the farmers at the farm is a master carpenter, and if you go on Instagram, it's Fish Whistle Trading Post. They have I think they have a lot of pictures up of the store, the front of it. It's a cool brownstone. The village decided to allow one dispensary.
Wow.
They gave it to us.
Hell yeah, man.
And they also allow use on premises.
Oh wow, that's a big one.
Right, so we could put a smoking porch in the back.
Yeah, they still don't do that in California,
This is really weird,
well,
right?
I guess they do in some places that are a little bit more relaxed, but I mean, you'd think everybody thinks about California being wide open that way, and we've been recreational for a long time, but they still are pretty touchy about the on-site use and stuff, and the restaurant business could be benefiting big time from that. Yeah.
That's when I was out in California as a surf bum and hippie, one of the jobs I got was working for a grower in Garberville.
Okay, yeah.
And he said, "Listen, man, I'm on harvest time. I got so much work to do."
Yeah, there's always those jobs around here.
You can keep all the sugar leaf and trim that falls on the floor.
Yeah.
And you can go home with it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "That's your pay, and I'll feed you lunch, right?" Well, I happened to know this dude that was going to HSU, right? And he was a chemist.
The Humboldt State, yeah.
Yeah. He would go up and down 101 and pick California poppies. Okay.
It's against the law, man.
I'm just telling you what he did. This was 94, 95, right?
Yeah.
He would pick California poppies. He would take all the leaf that we would give him, and he would make this opiated hash oil with it.
Weird.
It was it was really cool. You would just dip a cigarette into it and take a hit, and you were high. And it was wow, that's really kind of cool.
Learned so many things from this interview. Yeah.
You got kids?
I do. I have 2.
You're right.
Yeah.
5 of a family. I just became a grandpa a couple months ago. I'm pretty happy.
Man, awesome. Congrats. I'm one of 6 kids, so I get the big family stuff. But I only
Yeah.
got 2. Well, they're 10 and 8 right now. So,
I got 3 from a first wife, 2 stepkids that I've known for 11 years, and they're 17 and 19 and giants. I'm like 5'6", and these guys are like 6'1". Like,
yeah, I'm
Jesus,
starting to
like,
see some of my buddies get passed up by their sons. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're
right.
getting taller. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's incredible. And then my daughter gave me like a little granddaughter. She's 3.5 months old
Man.
now, and
Oh
like,
wow,
it's
awesome.
incredible. And they live close, so like, I see her all the time.
Yeah,
It's just
cool.
incredible. Yeah, it's
That's
really cool.
awesome, man. Man, look, I like people that create stuff and that go out and do what they want to do and like run their own operation. My dad ran his own business. Growing up, it's always been inspiring to me. I didn't do that myself. I mean, I tried to be a musician for a long time. I guess that was me trying to do that. But
What do you play?
I play guitar.
Cool.
And I did that, toured around in punk bands and stuff for a long time, and
Nice.
then had kids and got a regular job, and I'm very responsible now. And
My son's 29.
Yeah.
He's living in the town that he went to college in, which is New Paltz, New York,
Okay.
which is like kind of a hippie townish. And I think over the last 3 years, he's averaged 220 gigs a year over the last 3 years between
Busy.
between 4 outfits. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
and he went to school for jazz drumming,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Now he's playing keyboards and guitar.
That's cool.
But
Yeah.
one of his bands he gets to play drums in, and he's obviously a really good. He's a really good drummer. I'm really like
That's cool.
proud of him on that line. But like he just moved in with his girlfriend, and what you just said, like had kids. I'm like, you know what? At some point, he's either gonna blow up as a musician, like it's not too late,
Sure.
or he's gonna become a. He left a set of drum. He left a kit down in the basement. And when my ex-wife moved out, I had a lot of time on my hands, like because I was like single.
Start hitting some things. Yeah.
Well, I've been
Yeah.
playing like percussion, like hand drums, like congas. I studied Afro-Cuban music, and
Cool.
I liked it a lot. But like, I started playing the drum set, and I decided very quickly that I wanted to learn how to be a reggae drummer, right?
All right. Yeah.
And okay, I've been studying reggae drums now like 12 years. I am the worst reggae drummer on the planet. I suck so fucking bad.
Dude, I bet I got you beat. I'm a horrible drummer. Yeah.
But like, how do you practice something for 12 years and you still can't fucking play with a guitarist and a bass player? You
Yeah.
still are that bad. Like,
My dad's a drummer. I should have it in me. I grew up around it all the time. I can't
Right.
do it, dude. At all. Yeah.
All right.
But it's in my family. I mean, I can hear my son playing piano out there. He's been, honky tonking it up since he started taking lessons a few months ago. He's doing
That's
really
really
good.
cool.
Yeah.
I love the resurgence of bluegrass and country music, country western. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm really psyched with that, dude.
I dig
Like,
it too, man. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Like,
it
I got
all.
into Billy Strings. Like, I'm a
Cool.
latecomer. Like,
Yeah.
maybe like a year and a half ago, I got into him.
With country music?
Well, with everything, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he was part of Billy and the Kids. Like,
Yeah.
even because all the Dead offshoots I hated. Like, I couldn't even stomach Dead and Co. I just couldn't do it. I saw too many like of the real shows that like I was like, I'm not doing it.
There was a moment or a few years there where I ran the Dead and Company website.
That's so cool. Are you serious?
Yeah, my old job. Yeah, we
Oh my
worked
God,
with them
that's
for a
so
while.
fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, it wasn't that cool.
No, corporate was it corporate?
No, the job was awesome, but I don't have fond memories of the client, unfortunately.
I understand. I
It's
mean,
just the way,
I
work
see what
is
you're doing.
work. Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
When you find something that doesn't seem like work all the time, right? That you're blessed. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I like the restaurant business so much is that I have the gift of gab. I love my employees. I think I have 50 people right now working for me. They're all good people. And my customers, I've known some of my customers I've known for 30 years, right? So it's a good fest. It's like a positive vibe place.
It's a family over there, I'm sure.
It's like listen, we're not a utopia. We're as dysfunctional as any other fucking place.
The restaurant business is crazy. I get it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're busy, so it's like our dysfunctions can show at times, right? You never know. Like hey, we have a lot of outside seating, for example, right? Like, but in April, like who's sitting outside when it's like 45 degrees out? Well, you get a Tuesday night, right? And it's 79 degrees out, and suddenly like you're overrun with people, and you're like, 'cause staff is like you're staffed for a normal Tuesday night just inside, and you put 30 tables outside too, right? Like you're like, okay, like, you do your best. That you do your best, you smile. I don't read my reviews online. I could care less what the
I
interweb
like it.
says.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not on Yelp responding back to everybody who has a
no, not at
complaint.
all. I never responded back to
Oh man,
one.
we have a famous one here in Sacramento called Zelda's Pizza
Yeah.
and Spaghetti, and that the owner is constantly arguing with people on Yelp. It's pretty hilarious.
It's like, oh my God. You know which one I liked actually a lot? I think it was an LA restaurant, if I remember right. What was their motto? Leave the mask, take the cannoli. They were stayed open all during COVID.
Right,
I,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but they were like I wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
And like my business partner was like, "Listen, dude, we have a really good reputation in this town." And I'm like,
walking a
he's like,
fine line, yeah.
yeah, he's like, I'm with you in the sense that this isn't fair. Like
Yeah.
the state shutting down your business is not
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
but like, let's just kind of see if we can ride this out for a while and see
Kind
where
of
it goes, and then we can make a
change little
decision.
things, probably change some little things.
Well, it
Yeah.
was more
Yeah.
like, let's see how long they keep us from allowing customers
Oh
to eat
yeah.
outside or inside, which
Yeah.
was because they let us do to go,
Yeah.
and they let us provide meals for all the senior centers in the area. And then because we were doing that, Food Rescue contacted us and said, we need help too. We can't find enough restaurants that are open to supply the food that we need. So we got like two or three orders every week from Food Rescue. And it's not like we were making money, but we were getting cash flow through the restaurant, so we could actually pay some employees. I probably kept a third of my staff on.
Yeah.
And by the time we were ready to, by the time the state lifted all their like restrictions to like dining, we were like in great shape. So we were ready to go. And I still get the compliments this day. You guys handled COVID the best. I'm like, why do you say that? Well, you didn't put up dividers and you didn't make people wear masks, and you just like were chill. And it's like, okay, thank you.
What a weird time, especially
Definitely.
running a business like that. I felt for everybody that had to figure something out,
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird to like see Walmart open, but my local hardware store is
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah.
I'm like, they
Yeah.
see 40 people a day at my local hardware store, like 50 people a day. It's all contractors. Like, what the hell? I can go like you can go to Home Depot and like see 500 people at the same time. It made no sense to me.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, let's not end on that depressing note.
No, let's not. When are you going fishing again, dude?
Oh man, well it's shad time out here. We get a good shad run on the Lower American River, so that's what I've been looking for last couple weeks. I haven't got into my first one yet. Other people are getting them. I haven't got one yet. But
all right, what'll happen?
Yeah,
my friend Rich lives in Alaska, and he's got Chinook season opening tomorrow for him.
Sweet. Yeah,
and he's really psyched. We were talking like all day about it today.
American River used to be a good salmon fishery at one time years ago, and it's been just on a sharp decline. And so it's really, I don't know.
I don't know if it's my algorithm. I'm not on a lot of social media. I'm just on Instagram, and I left Facebook a long time ago, and I liked Instagram because of the pictures, right? But to me now it's the same thing as everything else, right? But I don't know if it's my algorithm, but it seems like the American River, the salmon, the juvenile salmon are all getting eaten by striped bass.
That's a lot of things that I think it's things that people say, yeah, and they're kind of pinning it on the striped bass. But I think there's a lot of argument that those two have coexisted in these waterways for so long, that I don't know. I'm not educated enough to speak on that one for
right on.
Right, you know what I mean?
I would look at the same thing what you just said.
Yeah.
But let's say on a river like the Miramichi in the East Coast of Canada, which has Atlantic salmon, and it also has striped bass.
And they've
been coexisting for millennia, right?
Yeah.
In some way or another. So like, obviously the older people blame the stripers now for the lack of returns of Atlantic salmon, but
Yeah, they do that with the steelhead and the salmon here for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember not quite canceling my trip out west, but we went to fish for salmon with sink tips on the day shoots, like
Uh-huh.
in October while the season was still open.
Hell yeah.
We went to fish for salmon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were targeting steelhead, like
Yeah.
no doubt about it, right? But like, and then the next year or two, the runs were the best in like 10, 15 years. Like I don't know how much of us understand really all this stuff. I know I don't. I don't even pretend to understand any of it.
Well, David, I end all my interviews with a non-fishing question.
Okay.
Have you ever had a paranormal or supernatural experience
Yeah. Yeah.
that you'd be okay sharing on the show?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Something weird. What do you got? Something weird?
I've had a supernatural experience. I wouldn't say paranormal, but I'd say supernatural. It certainly hasn't repeated itself, and I wasn't on drugs either, which was like the best part, right? I was out in Northern California, and I was looking at the sky, and it was like pulsed, man.
What do you mean?
Like it was like it wasn't like a vibrational wave, like it was just like. It was like so calm, and there were some shooting stars here. And I was with somebody, and they saw the same thing, so I know it wasn't just me seeing it.
Pulse like a drum or something, like a
pulse, like a vibrational like wave, like across the sky, like a ripple, right?
weird. That's weird.
Like if let's say there was a firmament over it, right?
Okay.
And some kind of weird energy tried to hit the firmament and bounce off of it. That's what it looked like. I didn't have any concept of what a firmament was back when I was 22 years old. But but I saw this happen, and I was like, I was amazed. Just like what was that? Like what like.
I know what you're saying, because there's this. I think I have a video in my head of what you're kind of trying to describe, because you're talking about the firmament. There's videos out there where people claim missile tests or something like that.
There's
I've hit
so
the
much.
firmament, right?
I've studied all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
That one was Operation Fishbowl.
David, you're into the weird stuff, like me?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I'm totally
man, this
overboard.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Overboard. Listen, I'm not going to say I'm a flat earther. I'm just going to say that I have a problem with like a lot of the things that they say that are shot from space that I don't think there are. Man, like I don't think we landed on the moon.
Like we need to hang out, David. I love this stuff, dude. I can't get enough. Yeah.
I can't either. Yeah. I'm reading actually a great book. It's about the Oklahoma City bombing.
The Timothy McVeigh, the dude that's still alive with the FBI or whatever, dude. I've been looking at that video too. Man.
Well, there's a book.
Yeah.
I'll show you the title. Hold on. I'll show you the title page.
That one's hard. That's hard to question, dude.
Well, it's I don't think that there's any doubt that in some way or another he was involved, right? Yeah. It's just that he wasn't the only one, right? So I'm going to turn my camera around for a second.
Hard to question that it's the same person though, because it's so dead on,
right?
Yeah. What is this one?
It's called Aberration in the Heartland of the Real.
All right, I'm making
The Secret Lives of Timothy McVeigh. Now, it's literally one of the most meticulously sourced books I've ever read in my life.
Oh man.
And I'm only a third of the way through it. So I don't want to ruin any part of it, but it's insane to see the law enforcement response to it, to see the media response to it, to see the public response to it, to see how it was shaped at the beginning versus where it went in the middle and then how it went at the end.
Yeah. Let's be careful, because I don't want this podcast to get flagged for anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of it's weird to say that, but it's sketchy territory. I mean, this is kind of it's adjacent to what Alex Jones got sued for $1 trillion billion or whatever.
Like, whether he's ever going to pay that or not, but I also think that he's like, I think, listen, he's been right about a lot of things, right, ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I think that he's got to be controlled opposition.
Yeah, I
Because
go back and forth. I go back and forth with him, man.
yeah, how do you get to that kind of information without being fed it by somebody at a high level, which means that you're trying to be controlled?
Did you
I'll
see
just
his
never.
really early Bohemian Grove infiltration video? Did you
I
watch
loved
that?
him
That
because that was like
like
that's real deal journalism.
before he was known guy. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like real journalism,
Yeah.
right? Like that's like real investigative journalism. Bohemian Grove is no joke. Like that
Yeah.
shit is real. Obama allowed what did he? I can't remember the name of the law that he passed or the bill it was, but he allows Americans to be propagandized. Like he actually allowed it, like legally wise. He promised in his campaign. Listen, I was very happy with the fact that he got elected. Don't get me wrong, for a lot of reasons. But that being said, like one of the things he said was, "I am going to make sure that no genetically modified food is sold unless it's labeled properly. I will fight Monsanto and big agribusiness." He said, "I will fight him to the tooth." Right? And he lied.
Yeah, they all do.
They all do. They all do. But I was so naive, man. Like I believed him.
Yeah.
You know, he broke my heart.
Man, yeah, dude. Have you read American Cosmic?
No.
Are you big into the UFO topic, or is that
absolutely?
Yeah.
I've read a lot of different UFO stuff.
All right, I'm gonna trade you a book. And
Okay.
and some stickers for the care package you say you're going to send me, man.
That sounds great,
send you
man.
some stuff. This is awesome. Dude, I can't thank you enough for taking an hour out of your
You're welcome.
Saturday to
You're very welcome.
yap
I
with me about
have
this
one
stuff.
last question for you.
Oh, ask away. Yeah.
Do you know who Edwin Casey is?
I don't think so. Well, should I?
Edwin Casey was a guy that was alive in the late 1800s, like
Edgar Casey?
He would do readings and channeling.
The sleeping prophet.
Yeah.
Edgar
and
Casey.
he was like a lot of the readings came from Atlantis.
Yeah.
Like these stories. But there's another guy that was like illiterate. He was like 17 or 18 and he found somebody to write for him. A similar person that would like get these like visions and stories, and he like was possessed by 3 or 4 people from Atlantis. Like and he published it in a diary, and then eventually his diary came out. No, listen, do I know if it's real or not and verifiable? I don't know. But Casey was definitely real, right?
Yeah.
Like that was no joke.
No, the sleeping prophet. He would sleep on a book and absorb all the knowledge in there. You know,
Yeah, like, that's
along with
crazy
other
shit.
weird.
So
shit.
I don't know where to go with any of this stuff, man. Like, are we an old civilization? Are we a new civilization? Did Tartaria exist?
Yeah, oh man, dude,
like,
you're hitting me right in the wheelhouse.
Is there free energy out in the ether if we can use structured water? There's so many examples of things that are true in our world.
Dude,
right?
if I would have known that this was things that you were into this stuff, I would have structured this interview completely
Let's
different.
do another one sometime.
Completely different.
Let's make our own.
Yes.
Had podcast. Okay?
Dude, oh man, we're gonna do an episode that we're not talking about fish and all. We're just gonna talk about all the weird shit. Yeah.
I'd love to read any book you send me, and I'll put a nice package together for you. Okay?
Oh man, hell yeah, dude!
Thanks, Matt.
This is the best way that I've ever ended an episode.
Awesome.
I'm so happy.
Me too.
A huge thanks to David for being my guest. Turns out we have a lot more in common than I realize, so I feel like it's inevitable he comes back to do a special episode where we just talk conspiracies. You might be surprised to hear that I don't have a lot of friends to discuss all that weird stuff with. I guess that's why I write about it in this show so much. And I feel like I barely scratched the surface of all the wild shit that I've absorbed over the last 20 plus years. I'd reveal all kinds of absurd theories I entertain if I finally dedicated an hour or two to chat with someone else that was into this stuff. I might just try to make that happen, whether you like it or not. And I'm gonna hold David to the trade we agreed on in the interview. I wasn't really sure if I'd have to edit out that part about the monkey fur to avoid incriminating anyone. But Google is telling me it's just fine to possess the stuff, and I want that fur. Anyone else out there fishing monkey leeches? You know that's the first thing I'm gonna do when I get my hands on a patch.
Ah, the leech.
Anyways, thanks again for letting me steal some of your time, David. I appreciate you coming on the program and for coming up with such a cool new tying material. Grab yourself a few colors and give it a shot if you haven't already done that. There's a lot of ways to use it. And if you're too lazy to find it yourself, all the links to the Squimpish store and socials and everything else I can think of will be in my show notes, of course. You know, I'm kind of mad at myself as I finish this one up. The theme for this season was supposed to be getting overtly sexual every episode, and the last few have been, dare I say, more focused on fly tying and fishing. Even though that's the genre of the show, I feel like I get further and further away from those topics with every new episode. And that's okay. It's my show, and I get to do what I want.
My name is Victoria, and I'm 15 years old, and I don't care what my mama says, I'm gonna have a baby. My life dream is to drop out of school, to be on Girls Gone Wild, and to have my baby. And there's nothing my stupid mother can say to change my mind.
I'll do better next time. I promise to make more sexy jokes in the final episodes of Season 4. The worm isn't slacking, that's for sure. I haven't really thanked the worm yet this season, and he does a lot for the show. More than he realizes, probably. He just told me that I left a guest's full home address in an interview yesterday. Whoops. I had to re-edit that one and take it out. Sorry, Ken. The worm definitely does more than he remembers doing with me, because I know he gets surprised by his own jokes sometimes. And he just does this for fun. If either of us weren't having fun making the show, we wouldn't. It might take me longer between seasons now, and it is a lot of work, but it's still fun. I hope AI gets good enough soon to do the really tedious show-related tasks without any effort. For the love of God. Then I just churn out new episodes every ding-dong day. I should probably take a moment to thank my brothers, too. 2 of my many brothers help me with this show a lot. One makes me logos, and the other writes some of the background music that I use on the show so I can better dodge copyright strikes from YouTube. Thank you, boys. One of those brothers is currently trying to fix my external hard drive, which holds the whole archive of all SSFT episodes, so I hope it's salvageable, but it might all be gone. Forever. And lastly, thanks to all of you for listening and motivating me to make more episodes and keep this train rolling in the right direction. I'll be back for a couple more episodes before I wrap up Season 4. One on the green butt skunk, and then a Season 4 wrap episode with my buddy the worm. Goodbye. See you next time.
I'm sick and tired of purchasing scented tampons only to find that the scents do not please me at all. When I reach for a tampon, I don't want to be assaulted by the smell of chemical detergents or artificial flowers. I have no interest in those odors. When I jam a bunch of tampons up my dumper, I want to smell something I enjoy. I want to smell something that'll make my mouth water. This is where Vital Elements come in. They have just released an extensive line of scented tampons made for those with a refined taste and loose colon. Now you can fill up your body's many holes with cotton rods that stink like freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, new car interiors, horse barns, Thanksgiving dinner, illegal street drugs, fresh milk, spaghetti bolognese, ham and cheese hot pockets, bonfires, ants, human sperm, Bradford pear flowers, and many other smells. Vital Elements has turned my wet, quivering hole into a truly aromatic receptacle, and they can do the same for you if you buy any of their new scented tampons. Find them today in the meat section of your favorite grocery store. They're in the meat section because they're made of meat. Please note that this is not a real advertisement, and the company, brand, entity, or product mentioned in the preceding ad in no way endorses, agrees with, or knows about this podcast.